Welcome to the Sixth Wheels Consulting Podcast, dialoguing disability and discussing difference, inclusion, and all abilities in today's world. Now here are your hosts, Matthew Shapiro and Bob Nolly.
Ho, ho, ho! I sound like that guy on the Christmas Story. Hey there, everyone. You found your way back to the Six Wheels Consulting Disability Podcast. I am Bob Nolly, and here is your host, my good bud, Matthew Shapiro. How you doing?
I'm great, Bob. It feels like it's been ages.
That's not too humble. Wait, great? Yes, of course you're great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I got to tell you, this is a relentless time of the year. A relentless time of the year. And even though, I keep saying this, I keep saying we're going to make this evergreen so, it's timeless. People can listen to this episode at any time. And I'm just going to say, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you.
Exactly. Happy holidays and
to everyone that's listened to us and helped us get launched so far this year.
Exactly. Happy holidays to you and happy holidays to all of our listeners. I'm excited to be with you as always and looking forward to a good conversation tonight.
Yeah, sure. This is all good, and we're in the middle of a great football season, so now they know what time it is there. It's just a good time. And when you and I host the Glass at 11:59 to celebrate the new year, this will be something we talk about.
Yes,
because you've really done a great thing there, and everybody should be proud of you. So yeah, most of the time you and I just were toying with the idea, the entire concept that as we get to this time of year, people tend to draw a breath and start taking some vacation around the holidays, time off. Folks in the retail end of things are working like, there's no tomorrow. So I'm sorry if this offends you in any way there. But, a lot of people tend to take some time off. People take at least Christmas Day off and whatnot. And whatever other holiday is appropriate for them. And there's some people that don't. And I asked you, are you getting ready to lighten up a little bit here as we get to the end of the year? And you went, no, I'm busier than all get out. And of course, as the legislative assembly here, the General Assembly here in the Commonwealth of Virginia gets going, you are going to be busy.
Yeah, no, I'm gearing up for our legislative session. It'll be starting here in the beginning of January, and right now I'm just kind of in the process of getting all my ducks in a row and trying to find legislators to support our agenda items and get patrons and chief patrons, and it's a busy time of year right now because session will start on January 29th. And for those that are unfamiliar with how the legislative system works in Virginia, on odd numbered years it's a 45-day session, and in even numbered years it's a 90-day session. So
you should be charging for the civics course here.
Yes. So this year we're hitting a 45-day session, so we're going to be hitting the ground running full speed right as session starts, basically, because we got a very limited time to get a lot of work done. So, just trying to get as much done ahead of time as I can, and looking forward to working with our amazing legislators and helping to get my organization's legislative agenda through the General Assembly.
Well, I can't tell you, as a podcasting partner, I'll be doing some work with some folks near the Hill, so I'll come up and ping you with a text and come see you in action at some point.
That sounds good. I could always use a fan club.
I doubt you need one at this point. So how big is your what am I getting for Christmas? No, never mind. Other than me, how big is your holiday shopping list?
Most of it is actually done-ish. I've got a couple more things I probably need to grab. My family and I are notorious for doing all of our shopping online, so we are able to.
You and the rest of the nation, sure.
Able to knock it out pretty easily. But I got a couple things I'm going to get for close friends and certain things, and maybe if you're lucky, you might get on that list as well. I got to figure out what I got to get you though.
No, everybody, we should give each other a pass. That should be our gift to each other.
There you go.
Works hard to do this. We should give each other a pass.
That's
Maybe
right.
We can meet for an adult beverage or something like that.
I'll get you a world best producer's mug.
Oh, oh, I'm just so flattered. And everybody, if you need production assistance, please call. No,
That's
would
right.
be horrible.
That's right.
Hey, so but the reason I asked that was, what do you think one of the hottest niches is for gifts this year?
I mean, I would argue that it's probably in the tech world somewhere. Everyone loves new tech.
That's right. That's right. We love new tech
that they can play with.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's VR stuff, virtual reality.
Awesome. I love VR. I'm seeing a lot more commercials for things with VR, but
sure. So you've seen the one. We should not name the product here. We shouldn't do that. But where the fellow is watching the penguins come up to him.
Yes.
And he like the penguin kind of gives him a little penguin kiss right on his snout.
Sure.
It's only a 15-second spot, and it's in some high traffic areas, so you'll see it, folks. You'll see it at some point. Keep your eyes open, and you'll see it.
Sure.
So so now that we've covered our shopping list, what does that have to do with disabilities? I just got to tell you, I read about the Department of Education, United States Department of Education, is betting on VR to help students with learning disabilities and high-functioning autism in schools. They have an investment of $2.5 million toward a program that will, listen to this, will use VR to nurture social skills in students with disabilities. And it's called VOICE. I think it's called VOICE. The letters are VOISS. And, that's not a great anagram. I mean, an acronym. So I think it's got to be VOICE, the way they chose it. And VOICE, VOISS, virtual reality opportunities to implement social skills. I like that. What do you think?
I love it. I'm kind of. You told me about the article, so I did a little pre-reading, and this is cool because I think particularly for students on the spectrum and high functioning spectrum disorders, like they always want to work on those social skills, right? But they don't always have the greatest of environments to do that. But if you can plug these amazing students into virtual reality situations, you can teach them the skills without there being any potential for negative backlash. Not that negative backlash in some situations is a good learning experience for those kids, but they can experience those learning skills and social skills in a softer environment, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah, let me ask you about this, and this is kind of this question may be really off the table, and maybe it'll get edited out and nobody will ever hear it, but probably not, because I do all that work.
Yeah.
So if VR stuff and tech gear like that is cool to us, all right, but if it is a tool to help folks that are on the scale with their learning disabilities, is this tech cool to them?
I mean, I would frankly, I would think that any tech is cool to anybody. When you get to, and maybe that's me.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Yeah, I'm there. Okay.
Maybe that's me being too far off base, but I know, who doesn't like to play with the cool shiny new toy, and try things. And the other way we can look at it is that it's a tool, right? And it's a tool to help those young people with those, those social situations, and to help them grow as individuals so that they can just be better all around people. And so I don't know why, and again, maybe I'm stretching here, but I don't know why anyone wouldn't be interested in doing that.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's such a great thing. This is the second, injection of funds from the DOE on this. And in the first round, they did some initial testing of the tool to develop and improve competencies with high-functioning autism subjects and learning disabilities. And Sean Smith, professor of special ed and co-principal investigator of the project, he said, based on their work, we wanted to expand and further investigate the tool. So there's some possibilities here.
Yeah, I can only imagine, how do you read social cues? How do How do you deal with relationships, whether it be romantic, whether it be, job related? How do you have uncomfortable conversations? I think all of that stuff could be embodied and incorporated into VR, and again, make it a soft scenario for the people that are taking part in the research. This is very fascinating to me. I'm glad you kind of pointed me in the direction of this article.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, this is just a little joke, my part coming out of academia here. They write it here somewhere. It's done at the University of Kansas. It's a basketball school. Oh, geez. Okay. University of Kansas Center for Research on Learning and Department of Special Ed. And they characterize this group of, listen to this, a collective of academics and PhDs. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, PhDs are academics.
Yeah, no, you're kind of right there.
Somehow I'm offended all of a sudden, very quickly. I'm going to have to run to Kansas. I'll be right back.
That's a long run. I hope you have fun.
Hold the line, please. Okay, so the researcher says once the student puts on the VR headgear, they'll be able to walk around the various environments exploring different situations. And they'll be able to walk up to somebody virtually and interact with computer-driven avatars. And that interaction will allow them to understand the consequences of the positive or negative aspects of the interactions they did. Like this. So if the user is constantly looking down, the avatar may cut the conversation short and walk away because they're already looking down. Contact. Do I have to hold on?
No, I was going to say how they're working to figure out how to maintain eye contact.
Eye contact, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'll cut that out. But if they make eye contact, then the avatar will respond positively by smiling and starting to talk to them. So they're going to use the VR to actually teach students the social competency skills. That to me is a pretty cool thing, I
thought. That's super cool. I can just think about how someone I can just see so many different ways that someone will be able to learn from this kind of technology. They'll learn when somebody's angry. They'll learn when somebody's happy. They'll learn when somebody is maybe flirting with them or interested in them. And,
some guys that are fully skilled and not disabled can't figure out when girls are flirting with them.
Well, I'm probably one of those people. So
I certainly was too. I'm sorry, too. I'm lucky to be married at this point.
I think I'm better. I think I'm better than I once was when I was younger. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother episode. The possibilities with this are just endless. Like they can help them with job interviews. They can help them with other things, like just very, very cool. I can see so many different directions that they could go with this.
Yeah, and you would think, okay, somebody's making money off of this, but the program can be used on any computer, any mobile device. And
sure.
You don't even need the use of a VR headset. One of the researchers says, this is the quote, "They are purposely developing in the web and in headsets so that there is greater access to the benefits of VR, and also because many students with autism do not want things on their face." I was unaware of that.
It's a sensory issue. They get very uncomfortable when they have a lot of sensory things going on, or they have to touch certain things. So that's another positive for all of this.
So they'll be able to use the system whenever they have access to a web-enabled device. And high-powered VR headsets are not commonplace in schools, and certainly not in a lot of homes. Certainly not in mine, at least.
Yeah,
So when they were thinking, the researchers, why are they thinking of using virtual reality as a teaching environment, an LMS, if you will, at all? Well, the researchers said that the safe and controlled environments of VR can indeed be ideal for students with autism. And that kind of makes sense to me.
And it does too. It does to me as well, because I think it goes back to my original point of they can have these interactions in a low impact environment. And yes, there are still consequences, but they can learn from it. And it's not like they've completely shattered their confidence, right? They can do it in this virtual environment. They can take the goggles off, and they can kind of decompress from that situation and think about, okay, what did I do wrong here? What did I do correct here? And alter their behavior in that way, rather than doing it like in a scenario where they might be at a club and they might want to talk to somebody, but they don't know how. And then that person thinks they're, odd or weird. Not that anybody with a disability is odd or weird, but that's just the perception that society has of disability. So they can experience all these things and then take the knowledge that they learn from these VR goggles and hopefully implement that into real life scenarios.
Yeah, that's really interesting. There's folks on the other side of the fence in cognitive science that say virtual experience improve cognitive flexibility outside of just the digital collision that's going on. They have studies that suggest that the user's brain can form new anatomical functionality. New neural connections get rerouted while you're in the virtual environment. And that's, of course, the brain's functional plasticity, which not only improves the ability to generalize what they've learned, but also allow them to improve skills for learning. But for it to be an effective tool, it has to manage both to saturate the senses and maintain that sense of being real. Even you and I would not want to put one of these things on if we went, this sucks, this isn't real at all.
Right. It's got to be as real as they can make it.
So immersion is the technology moving forward. I just think this is a big deal. Let's get this on everybody's Christmas list.
This is very, very cool, and I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad you pointed me in the direction of this article. I'd be curious to see outcomes once they continue to do this research.
My Christmas gift to you. Trust me, it is my Christmas gift to you.
All right.
But I'll give you this too. I'll give you the last word. What do you have going on?
Well, no, I was just gonna say I'm gonna expect some virtual reality goggles in my mail.
Okay, let me get to Amazon here pretty quick. I can't even say that, can I? Oh well, it's done.
No,
What's done is done.
I do have in closing. I have another pretty exciting announcement I want to share. So I and Six Wheels are now copyrighted. I am now officially a copyrighted entity. With my logo is copyrighted, and my inclusion above compliance phrasing is now copyrighted, and the Six Wheels Consulting LLC name is also now copyrighted. So,
hey, congrats! That's a big deal.
I've got some intellectual property under my belt, so it's pretty exciting.
I've been trying to get that for years. Now,
Bob, you cannot steal my business identity.
I would. That's wonderful. That's a great idea. If we were doing a business class here, I'd be recommending that to folks on many levels. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. You're copyrighted. I'm still a free man. I'm still a free man, aren't I?
You are.
Okay, good. All right. I'm glad. That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Six Wheels Disability Podcast. Take care of each other. Have a great holiday season. Think inclusion. Keep rolling forward.
Happy holidays, everybody.